Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to part
Hello.
two of how to make your business legal and fundable. And today, lem- we're talking about a lot of things. We'll be talking about the SCUML by EFCC. You would also a minute, please. I'm trying to share my screen. Okay. So we'll be talking about a lot of things. We'll be talking about SCUML by EFCC. We'll also be talking. I know we mentioned something on tax compliance yesterday. I said yesterday. Pardon me. Last week. So we'll also be talking about tax. We'll also be talking about trademark as a business owner. So let's dive right in. Today we are starting with SCUML. So is I don't know how people pronounce it, but that's how I pronounce it. SCUML is an abbreviation for the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering. So that's just a unit of the EFCC. Of the we all know. I assume that everyone here would have heard of the EFCC, the Economic Financial Control Commission. Those people that go about with their red with the red jacket and the eagle. Yes. So this unit is just a subunit of the commission. It's specifically put in place for them to control how to go it for money laundering and counter terrorist financing. So what is money laundering? Money laundering is you getting money from an indecent place and then trying to make the money become legal, not indecent, rather illegal, yes, from an illegal means, and then trying to get the money to become legal. So that's what we call the that's what we call money laundering. So there's also the anti-money laundering, that's you going against money laundering, and there's counter-terrorist financing. Of course, when there's money from sources that you cannot define, you don't even know what those money are for, whether they are using it to sponsor terrorism, probably Boko Haram or some other, or terrorism in some other countries. So what EFCC has set up that unit to do is to ensure that the money that comes in and out of people's accounts is not used for the purpose of um, money laundering, and is not used for financing terrorists. And this common it oversees a particular set of people. Those are the people we call the designated non-financial businesses and professions. So I'm just going to explain now. It is easier for EFCC um to monitor money through regulated industries like the banking industry, the capital markets industry, those selling or sharing of shares in the market, and all of those things. It is easier for them to track the money going and in and out of those sectors. However, money going out into some other sectors like the jewelry sector, the real estate sector, you want to go and check what exactly the money is for. Is it being used for the exact reason it's supposed to be used for? So those are the people we then call the designated non-financial businesses and profession. So simply put, if your business deals with a large sum of money, you are a designated non-financial business. So there are examples of designated non-financials. We've talked about the real estate. We talk about tax consultants too. So if you deal with jewelry, you sell gold and all of those things, there are obligations on you. If you are a real estate person, you do construction. If for non-profit, non-governmental organizations, also all of them are regulated by this SCUML. So we would move ahead. Remember we said the full meaning is Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, and it is just a subunit of the EFCC. So we'll move to the next slide. SCUML and where it matters. It was established in 2005, rather, and currently there is a law now That's what we call the Money Laundering Prevention and Protection Act 2022, which empowers these units, that's the SCUML unit, to register. They supervise and enforce compliance among businesses. So remember the business we've talked about. We said if you are in the real estate business, if you are in construction, if you own a supermarket, yes, that those ones are also the regulated businesses. So apart from you getting your SCUML, what's the first step for you in complying with this organization? The very first step for you is to register. You register through to the SCUML. You register for your SCUML certificate. That's the certificate issued by the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, and it is issued by EFCC, right? And registration is free on the SCUML portal. It is free. The website, it is free for you to register. However, as a business owner, you may not be able to know what are the things that are required. You may not be able to know. You want to ask, do my business fall in line with those businesses that are registered? So all of those things, you want to know, how will I file it? So you, in such situation, you may need a professional that would help you to register, and that is why you may pay a service fee. But registration for SCUML on EFCC portal or the SCUML portal or the website is free. However, if you'll be going through a professional, probably a lawyer or an accountant or a consultant, right, to help you with the registration, such person may charge what is called a service fee. This is not a fee paid to the EFCC. It is a fee you are paying because you want someone to help you with it, not because you are doing it yourself. So the other thing, the next step you want to know is you want to understand what are the reporting thresholds. So you've gotten this SCUML certificate. Congratulations, your bank has accepted it and they've gone ahead to allow you to start operating your business account, because for certain businesses, you will not be allowed to operate a business account unless you have that SCUML certificate. So now that you've gotten that SCUML certificate, you now have a business account, you give it to people, they pay money in, you send money out. What next do I do? Do I just frame the certificate and keep it somewhere? No. The other thing you have to do is you have to report certain types of transaction. So I'll explain those transactions. The first one is currency transaction reports. That's what we call the CTR. So any transaction you as an individual, so probably you are a lawyer or you're a tax consultant, and you carry out that transaction, or you as an individual or as a business owner, you are into the sale of jewelry, or you own a supermarket in your name or in the business name. Remember that I said your business and you as a business name, you are the same thing. In our previous class, the law sees you as the same person, only that you are operating through the name that you've registered. So once you carry out that transaction and it exceeds 5 million naira, such transaction must be reported to the SCUML within 7 days. So within 7 days of completing that transaction, you must report it. So if you receive a money that exceeds 5 million naira, you have to report it. If not, your account could be flagged. There could be penalties that you pay. Then if you own a business, remember, if you own a company rather, remember we said that a company on itself is seen as it's seen as a different legal person from its owners. So if you own a company and your company engaged in a transaction that is 10 million naira, or that exceeds 10 million naira, within 7 days of that transaction, you should also report it. There's a reporting channel, there's a reporting website. You must also report it to the SCUML. If not, you may be facing fine, penalty. And if, for example, there's an issue that occurs in future and it involves that, it has anything to do with that transaction, it will be shown that, oh, this transaction was a legitimate transaction. It was not an illegal transaction because you've reported it to the right authority. So that's the currency transaction report. So remember what we've said now is it's good for you to get the certificate, because for you to get that certificate, you might need the certificate for you to open a business account. Banks have been told not to issue out, not to allow opening of accounts for certain businesses, such as the real estate business, the jewelry, the supermarkets, the construction businesses, without that certificate. So it is not enough for you to get the certificate. It's also for you to know that transaction, no, 5 million naira. As an individual, I must report between 7 days. This transaction, 10 million naira, above 10 million naira. As a company, the company or its compliance officer, yes, its compliance officer could be the tax consultant, maybe the accounting officer, the lawyer, whosoever it is, there must within 7 days report. The next type of reporting is cash-based transaction reports. So that's for transaction that exceeds 1,000 USD. So if it is 1,000 USD, or it's or you convert it, well, by the time you convert it to naira, it is going to be that amount. So within 7 days. So cash, excuse me. So any transaction that is cash, like you exchange money or funds with someone, you know what it will mean if you are carrying a Ghana must go to give someone and it contains that amount of money, or you just counted the money and give someone, you'll be wondering, what is that money for? Are you using the money for bribery purpose? Are you using, so for you to show that what I have done is legal, you have to report that within 7 days. So there's also suspicious transaction reports. So if there's a transaction sent to your business account and you just cannot pick it together, you're not so sure, why do I have this money in my account? I did not make any transaction with someone. I did not offer any service. I don't know why I'm receiving this amount of money. It is good for you to report is to the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. There's a portal for that. All of that is all under the is all of the things you need to do as a business that is regulated by the SCUML. So what are the reporting obligations as a small business? That's how you will maintain compliance. That's so the first one is KYC, know your customer. You will have a form, right? You have a form that contains the basic details of your clients or your customers. It could include what's it called? It could include their personal details, their full name as it is written on their government ID card, their address, yes, where they can trace them to, their address, their occupation, what's their source of income. You are not just collecting money from places where you don't know where those people are getting the money from. Are they getting the money from 419? Are they getting the money duping people online? So you want to know, what is your source of income? What is your threshold of income per annum? Is it per annum? Are you someone that is likely to earn in millions? If someone is not likely to earn in millions and the person is coming to you and say, I want to buy this thing that is in worth millions, you have to question, okay, what's the source of your income? Why are you buying this thing? Because I know that as your cost as your what do I say, to that customer, or as the person, as your vendor, yes, as your vendor, or as the professional person that I am to you, I know you cannot afford it. Then the person is going to be able to tell you, oh, I did this and this is why I'm able to. Of course, you must always remember that whatever information your clients provide to you, unless just that information is suspicious, it must always remain confidential. You are not allowed to divulge information to your clients, to other people, except there is a valid legal reason for you, such as probably the court of law has called you and said, this person gave you this information, this transaction with you, give us this information. Except there is a reason that is legal. If there are no legal reasons, like you giving a testimony before a court of law, or for some other witnessing purposes. Please do not divulge the confidential information of your customers or your clients. So that's know your clients. If you remember, if you want to open a personal bank account, you remember they will give you a form. They will ask you, what are you doing? What is the level of income? Those are KYC. And those things you're not just collecting those forms for you. You're supposed to have a database to be able to track that this person that is paying for this amount, yes, this person is able to or the person has a source of income that can finance whatever the person is purchasing. Number two is you have to keep accurate record and be prepared for inspection or audits. Yes, you have to keep accurate record. Remember last week we talked about how important it is for you to keep financial records. Yes, so when you are keeping financial records, you are saying this month I earned 10 million naira, or I earned 100,000 naira this month. This so and so person who is your customer paid you this amount. This person and this person paid you this amount. So it is, and thankfully we are in a generation that we use electronic for everything. You could store it on your Google Drive. You could store it what's on online. You can store it online, and years to come, 5 years, 10 years to come, you can still retrieve those information for your use or for your protection. So if the SCUML, the agency, comes around that say, oh, we want to inspect, probably while they were investigating some other persons, for some reasons they were able to trace some transactions to your business. They are able to say, oh, it is true, this person paid me 1 million naira, but the reason he paid me the 1 million naira is because he wanted to buy shoes from me, and the shoes were worth that amount of money. So it's not like you're scratching your head and they're saying, I don't know, I can't remember. Remember, we spoke last week on why it is important for you to keep record. The third one is stay informed of laws and updates via the SCUML trainings or workshop. So during registration, at the final stage of registration, there is a place on the portal where you are expected to put your personal email or the business email or the compliance officer email, because from time to time SCUML and other agencies that work with it will send you updates of laws or things that are happening that for you to keep track of. Also, EFCC also gives training to compliance officers. So that's that. But the other thing you could do, if you are unable to um stay informed on the law, because as a business owner you have a lot of things, you can have someone in your corner. You can have a business consulting organization that you reach out to for updates. Oh, in fact, those business consulting organizations by themselves are looking out for their clients. So what they will do is, when the time comes and they see there's a new update you need to do to your business, they pick the call and call you. Oh, this person, do you know that this is the new law that is required, or this is what the SCUML now requires of your business? You are able to keep updates. So because in law, the fact that you are ignorant of a law, it is not an excuse. The fact that you did not know that there was such a law, it is not an excuse. There's an assumption that you know what the law says. And it is best for you to protect your business by taking up available resources, such as the use of business consultancy. If the company or the business is in a lower state or is still growing and does not have the resources to have an in-house compliance officer, then the other thing is you have to act responsibly. Know that non-compliance can lead to administrative sanctions and legal trouble. You may be required to pay penalties that could run your whole business down, and there is just no excuse for you. It could put you into trouble because somebody has tried to send the money that they got through an inappropriate means to your business. They've tried to use it to convert it to a valuable good. And what you have done is you have innocently, you did not have any intention of being involved in the money laundering, but somehow you've gotten yourself into it. There is not going to be such thing as, oh, I did not know. So it is not just enough for you to have the certificate. It is important for you to also know that there are requirements of reporting requirements, obligations for you. Remember, as an individual, when there is a currency transaction that is above 5 million naira, and an individual, a business name is also seen as an individual, right? So you must report it. For a company, if it is above 10 million naira, you must report it. If it's a cash based transaction, which is like hand to hand cash, that one is one 1,000 USD or its equivalent. So it could be its equivalent in naira or in some other denomination. So each time you are receiving money as a business owner, don't just be excited about you receiving the money. Also look at what are the legal obligations I have in this aspect regarding the money I've received. So why does this matter to you? I've spoken of that before. We said for you to avoid legal penalties, you don't want to be involved in a matter that does not concern you ordinarily. You want to protect yourself. Then many banks will require the SCUML certification before they register. They allow you to open a corporate account, and that is because the EFCC, the SCUML unit of EFCC, has mandated that they should not open accounts for these categories of persons without um without them having school certificate for good reputation. You want regulators to be able to come and be sure that, oh, we know that this business is not aiding and abetting money laundering. We know this business is very legal. This business has taken it upon itself to be sure that every money it receives and every money it sends out are used for legal purposes and for you to contribute to national security. Remember why we said in at the earlier stage that the reason why the units were set up is for them to counter terrorism and for them to ensure that money laundering is not allowed within the country. So now imagine if you are a business that you are not compliant to all of these things and you have inadvertently allowed your business to be used to fund terrorism. You know what is going to be for the nation and for you as a business owner. So here is the summary. SCUML, that is the Special Control Unit, Special Control Unit against money laundering, and against money laundering is just an arm of the EFCC. It is not a separate commission or agency of its own. It is a subunit of EFCC, and then you have obligations to, once you know that this business I'm in, oh, we deal with large sum of money, there is a high probability that that business is being regulated by SCUML. Then what are the reasons you should also eat to it? You want to be sure to have good reputation for your business. You want to be sure that you have a you are able to open a bank account. You want to be able to avoid penalties. There are some penalties that are very deadly. That it's not just about it paying. Let's say, for example, you are being called to a court of law on a matter that is a criminal matter of money laundering and all of that. You are not able to prove to them that no, I did not know anything about it, because you have one way or the other allowed your business to be used for, you know what it's going to do for your reputation. It could even run down the business. So you want to protect your business. You want want there to be a longevity, the continuity of your business. So the next thing we'll be talking about, please, I didn't check if there are questions. So if there are questions, please let me know. Could just drop the questions in the comment section. So the next we'll be talking about trademark and business name registration in Nigeria. So we'll talk about what trademarks are. You talk about business name registration, and you want to know at this point in time which one is more important. I'm sure that in the past few weeks we've heard the stories of um fastest cake, the one in Ibadan and one in another part of the country, and how they've had to write to CAC to ask that the company changes its name or it's delisted. And that is the power of trademark. So I'm just going to explain to you what trademark is. Trademarks are words. They are logo, their symbols. Like, there are things that once you see them, you are able to say this is the company that you attribute it to. So that when you see them, you're able to say this is the business, this is the company that you attribute those logos to. So before this particular company changed its name, if you hear everywhere you go, everybody knows that, or everybody knew then that it was MTN. If you see the market sign with the just do it, you're probably thinking of Nike. So trademarks are things that there are certain words that once you say, everybody is able to say this is the company that owns it. When you see the logo of Pepsi or Coca-Cola, nobody has to tell you that this is the company that owns it. You already know, because that particular logo has been associated to that business. It has been associated to it for a long time, such that it's a distinguishing factor from other um, businesses. So here in Nigeria, trademark are registered under the Trademark Act, and they are handled by the Trademarks, Patent and Design Registry. So all of this is under the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. So trademark is very much different from business name registration, and we are just going to tell you what trade. So trademark is that thing that gives your business its identity. It just shows that this is the business. You don't need to put the name. Just seeing the logo ordinarily, you already know. So when we see apple, when we see the broken the half apple that is not full, what comes to you is, of course, the Apple company. That's what you will come to your mind. So just those things. Let's say for those of us that use social media network or on our phones, when we use our phones, let's assume a minute, please. Let's assume for these phones, the names were not written under it. Immediately looking at it, you already know that, oh, you already know this is WhatsApp. You don't have to start saying that, I don't know what app I'm opening, because ordinary seeing the app, you don't even have to read on that to see WhatsApp. You already see. So that's just that thing that gives uniqueness to that is what it is. And once it is registered, it is for your exclusive use. It is not to be used by another company. It is what we call intellectual property. What it does is it protects your brand's identity and helps prevent other people from confusing similar brands or names in the same industry. So it is just something that distinguishes your business. So let's say, for example, if you register Sunfresh as a trademark for fruit juice, no other juice company can use Sunfresh as a similar name that could cause confusion. The same way we have in the Coke, the Coca-Cola industry, we have in the soft drinks rather, you have Coca-Cola, you have Biggie Cola. You will know that these are two different companies. You don't even have to read it. You already see that there's a difference in the name and everything. So those are the things that distinguishes one brand to the other, such that one person will not end up patronizing a company and thinking it's the other company. Why business name registration? Business name is the name you use instead of your personal name when you are registering a business. So they say business name registration is simply recording the name under which you operate your business with the Corporate Affairs Commission. If you remember, the trademark is under the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. So there's a registry there. So when you think of trademark, just think of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. And under that ministry, there's a particular registry that is in charge of trademark, patent and design. So why business name is just to the commission. So my name is Ruth Omodara right now. And let's say, for example, I want to open a law firm, but I don't want to use Ruth Omodara. I could look for a very nice name. I could use Ruti Legal Practice. Fine, my name is there, but that is it. So if somebody else has trademarked Ruti, I may not be able to use Ruti. So the business name is just the name that is associated, and it is usually recognized by the commission. And it is only when it has to do with the commission that another person cannot use it. So let's just read from the slide. It says it is more than legal recognition of your it is more about legal recognition of your business entity rather than brand protection. So what this business name registration is, you have your personal name, but you've decided that, oh, you do not want to use your personal name to run this business, you do not want to use your personal name to run this service that you are doing. So what do? You register a name by which you want to be known for. So for the CAC, if for those of us who have done business name registration, the very first stage you will do is availability check. They are going to check, oh, um, let's say I want to register Omodara law practice. They want to check on the CAC portal. Is there a name that is similar to Omodara law practice? Is there a name that is that is exactly Omodara law practice? If there is such a name, it will not it will not be I will not be allowed to go ahead with the registration. However, what now happens there is that the availability check, the only check is from their own database. So what CAC will do is to check from all the companies that have registered, or all the businesses that have registered, and check, this name, is it similar to any name? This name, is it going to be available? Will this name cause confusion with another name, with the brand identity of the name? So once they check, is it going to be similar to it? They're not going to go ahead and tell you, yes, you can register it. But what they have not done, or what you have not done at that particular point in time, is they've not checked you as a business owner, you've not checked the trademark register. And I'm very sure that during this last couple of days where there have been that issue of the fastest cake matter, some of them would have said, oh, CAC is at fault. CAC should have told them that the name was not available. Trademark should have done this. So now let me tell you, as a business owner, it is your duty to ensure that you comply with all the law. The commission, it is not the duty of the commission to look for you and check and say it is true, it is true. It is your own duty to do all the due diligence. It is your own duty to you to do all the background check. So you check this name, this name, is it available at the trademark as well as it is available at the corporate affairs commission? Is it available at the trademark registry? As much, so the onus is on you as a business owner. So you just say your destiny is in your hands. It is not in the hands of the commission, it is you. So they are the one that is to take the step to ensure that you comply with the requirements of the law as it regards to trademark and business name registration, or business registration, or company registration. So generally, generally, trademark will take precedence. Trademark will take, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. So generally, trademark will take precedence over the business name. So because a registered trademark, I'll just read from this. A registered trademark is a proprietary right protected by the Trademarks Act, which can be enforced against anyone using it without authorization, including someone who has registered it as a business name. So if, for example, I a registered green leaf as a trademark for herbal teas in 2020, then B now registers it as Greenleaf Enterprise as a business name at CAC in 2022. As long as it is in the same industry, A take precedence. The person that came and registered it first as the trademark will be the one to will be the one that take precedence. I will be the one to be able to write to CAC and say, yes, I know I had not registered this name, but I have my name protected by the Trademark Act. Please tell this person to change their name, or you delete the name from the list of businesses or companies registered. So that is why, so what is there for you as a business owner? For you as a business owner, you want to be sure that if already you are using that name, you want to check or reach out to a consultant to help you check at the registry, to consult a search. That's what we call it, a search at the registry, to be sure that that name has not been taken up by another person at the trademark. And then you will proceed to register that name, or trademark rather, trademark that name at the trademark registry. However, if another person has taken up that particular name and you found out before the person, it is easier for you, or maybe easier for you, to rebrand before the person writes to CAC and all of that. However, if you've not registered your business at all, if you've not registered the business, so while you are checking at the CAC to be sure that the name is available, you will also want to check at the trademark registry to be sure that the name is available. So you may decide to trademark the name even before registering your business, or as soon as you are registering the business, you've checked for the availability and CAC has said, oh, this name is available. So once CAC says the name is available, you can reserve the name for 60 days. So within those 60 days, you can reach out to someone who is a trademark consultant, or who has intellectual property consultant, and say, please help me check this at this trademark office. Is this name available? Within the 60 days, the person will conduct a search at the registry, at the trademark registry, and check, oh yes, this name is available. Then you proceed with both your trademark and your business name registration, because it is important for you to protect the identity of your business. Imagine if you've operated a business for like 10 years, you've done everything, you have your CAC, you have your tin, you've done branding, your Instagram followers are there, you've built your social capital, you've done all of those things, only for someday someone to come up and say, oh, before you even registered that business, I had that name trademark. And the person would have the right to go to write to the CAC and ask them to delete to ask you to change your name. You understand what it is? You've built an identity around that name. So it's as important as it is for you to grow your business, it is also important for you to protect the identity of your brand, because that brand is like an investment for you. You've done so much in the name of that business, and it will be bad for you to lose it because someone else trademarked it before you. So what now happens if you registered the name first before the person later trademark it? What's going to happen is that then you may have to and then this could be a stressful method. So prevention is usually better than cure. You may at that point have to go to the courts and prove to the fact that you were using that name before the person trademarked it. The prima facie rule, okay, sorry for using legal term, the ordinary face of it, they would give precedence to a person that has a trademark registration. But if you are able to prove to the extent that the court is um is able to agree with you that yes, you should be the one to retain that name, then you may be able to retain that name and even trademark it. But that is a very stressful one. It's just trying to patch things up when it's already out of hand. So the best thing to do is to do the trademark with the business name registration, because on the surface looking level of it, what who will take precedence is the person that has a trademark certificate to show that I own this name, I own this logo. So it could be a name, it could be a logo, it could be a word that is already associated with your business, that when people hear it, what they first of all think of is, oh, it is your business. It could even be a song. That's what people think. Once they hear it, the first thing they think of is your business. So once you trademark those things, you're able to protect the the identity of your business, because that is a resource that you don't want to lose to someone else. It is something you've built your brand on. uh, okay, let's you look at it. My name is Ruth Omodara. Everybody has known me to be Ruth Omodara from my primary school, and then all of a sudden someone else says, no, that's my name, and I have to change all of that name. Do you know how stressful? Do you know how many certificates I will have to change? Do you know how I'll also start reintroducing myself to people that no, I'm no longer Ruth. My name is now Hayo. You know how it's going to sound. So that's the same thing with your business. See your business as a person that is growing, and you have to protect the identity of that person. And that is why you have to have both your trademark and your business name registration. Please, if you have questions, just drop them in the comment. I'll attend to them. So we also have, okay, so now in summary, we just summarize here. We said trademark gives stronger protection for brand name in commerce. Business name registration is just a legal registration of your business identity. It does not give you ownership of a brand. So your business name is just who you want to be known by in the business sector. You don't want to be known by your personal name. You want to give yourself a name. If you have a clothing line, and let's say my clothing line is Dara Couture, despite the fact that my name is Omodara, what people know as my clothing line is Dara Couture. So now that is just the identity of it as a business. But as it for it to be a brand, there has to be you have to go ahead to trademark it such that no other person will be able to use that same name. That is why so I'm just going to read from what I said. To fully protect your name in Nigeria, it is best to register with both the CAC and the trademark registry. In a conflict, the registered trademark usually wins, especially when it covers the same industry. So barely looking at it, there's somebody that comes with a certificate to show I have been using it, or to show that I'm the owner, and then there's someone to say, I've just been using it, and I don't know. The person that is going to win in such a situation is going to be the person that has a certificate to show. Okay, so we're going to the next slide. And that is, we've started on this last week. We started on taxation, and last week we were able to tell you that annual returns is not the same as tax returns, and we only differentiated this. We just said, oh, these were the differences between it, but we didn't go fully into taxation in Nigeria. And please note that this taxation in Nigeria is based on the current tax regime in Nigeria, and not based on the new law that will be used from January 1st. Hopefully, by then, we'd come back to talk about what the current one, what's next year, what's going to you go about from next year. But some of the things are the same, while a lot of things have changed. We'll be able to talk about that by next year. But as it is now, this is the one that you still go by. The new tax law that everybody has been hearing about, of it being signed to law, has not we've not started using it until January 1st, 2026. So in this module, we'll be talking about taxation in Nigeria. We're talking what tax is, types of taxes, the tax registration requirements, common mistakes small businesses make, benefits of paying your tax, and simple tips to stay compliant. A minute. So taxation in Nigeria, we'll start with what every business should know. Sorry. So quite sure a whole lot of us have been seeing the whole story about these this content creator or peller, and how the government have asked him to pay a certain amount of money. So you start looking at it. Is it a penalty? Is it a crime to even earn in this country? Is it a crime to earn in this country? Can't I just earn my money and spend it the way I like? At least I'm the one earning the money. Is the government working for me? Why should they want my money? I'm sure that's what's coming to all of us. That's what's coming to our mind. But then we have to think there are laws, and a country that, or a society that is not being compliant with the law, then there's going to be a mishap. There's going to be a whole lot of things that is going wrong. So we'll have to talk about what tax is. Why do you have to pay tax? I know you are the one that is working. You are the one that set up your business. Nobody set up the business for you. So why am I paying government? Now we want to talk why is tax a punishment? No, tax is not a punishment. Tax is the money you pay to government for them to provide basic um amenities, to provide public services like roads, like school, like hospitals, like security. The Nigerian police force, the armed forces, how do you think we are paying them? It is the taxes of businesses, taxes of companies. Those are the things that are paying them. And remember, if the community or the society is not good, there's not how a business will thrive in such a community. So every business in Nigeria, no matter how small, you have tax obligations. And when you have those, and the thing there is, if you do not pay these taxes, there are also some benefits that you'll be losing out to. So you'll be losing out on benefits. Some grants will ask you to bring your tax clearance certificate, and then sometimes even the tax authority will reach out to you with penalties. So not only will you be paying the tax you are supposed to pay, you would also pay penalty on it. Let's just assume that penalty is interest. Let's please, in quotation, interest. It's not interest, but that's the penalty. That's the punishment you get for not paying at the right time. So there are different types of taxes in Nigeria, and there are some you pay for to the federal inland revenue services. There are some you pay to the state internal revenue services, and there's some you pay to the local entities. So let's start with the ones that they pay to federal government. That's the federal inland revenue services. That's the company income tax. So as a company, if you were in our former class, we talked about companies being different from their owners. They are seen as different legal entities. So at the end of the year, when the business have made profit, you've removed your revenue, whatever amount you are able to generate as revenue, you've removed the expenses, the cost of the building, the cost of you paying your staff, the cost of raw materials. You've paid yourself as a business owner. Even if you are the CEO, of course the CEO has to be paid. So you put all of that in place, and there is what we call profit. Yes. So profit after expenses. So that's after you've already paid all the expenses from the revenue you generated. You have profit. So it depends on the amount of profits you made. That's the amount of percentage of tax you pay. For a small company, that's if your turnover, so turnover is the revenue. Turnover is, let's say I have a food business. At the beginning, my capital was 2 million naira. Let's say at the end of the year, the total amount of money that came in from the business is 20 million naira. That's at the end of the day, that the amount I got was 20 million naira. You are not your revenue or your turnover, you are not removing your capital from it. You are putting everything. It's just everything that came in total. So if everything that came in before any other thing is less than 25 million naira, you are paying 0% of your profits. So that's tantamount to you not paying any tax at all. But don't say because you are not paying tax, you will not file your return. You must file the return and let them know, oh, by this um by these returns or by these rates, I am not supposed to pay any amount. I am only, so you file that 9 NIL, you are not paying any amount. So medium companies, yes, so I must put that when the new law comes in place, we'll probably have to revisit this topic, which is by next year, small companies are categorized as companies that earn less than 50 million in turnover, not like profit, so but their total turnover is less than 50 million. But that is for the ones that is still in force right now, that is what we are dealing on. So medium companies are companies that their turnover is between 25 million naira and 100 million naira, and they are paying 20%. So now 20% of their profits, not 20% of the turnover. I It's paying 20% of the profits, not 20. So for large companies that have that their turnover is 100 million naira and above, the profit is 30% of their profits. 30% of their profits. So if a company now makes loss, because tax is on profit, if a company now makes loss, that means the company is not entitled to pay tax, but you must still file your returns. So there's also the value added tax. That's 75% tax added to goods and services. And these are deducted from customers. If you check, if you, I think, is it transfer from banks and all of that, there's VAT, your SMS, there's VAT. So there's 75% of the amount you purchase those goods or services. So for professionals now, when you visit them, you will see sometimes, that's why we say companies should please, or small business rather, should please read their contracts where they are signing. You see some places where they are saying, oh, they will pay you this amount inclusive of tax. So now what you have to do is you have to calculate how much the tax you are supposed to pay from it, and know how much the person is actually paying you, and know how much the person is actually paying you. So sometimes it could be exclusive of tax. When it is exclusive of tax, it means the person that is getting that goods or services, it will be the one to pay the tax on it, not you. So value added tax is 7.5%. Then there's a withholding tax. So this withholding tax is like the words used, withheld, is deducted at the source at the end of the year, or at the end of the financial year of the company or the business. There's a way accountant balance it up with the company income tax, such that when the person needs to pay tax, they will first of all start with the withheld taxes, and if the withheld taxes can cover the company income tax for that year, the person may not need to pay tax, but you, of course, you have to file your returns. Then there are stamp duties. Stamp duties are paid on certain transactions, certain business agreements. I know for incorporation of companies too, there's stamp duties for incorporation of companies. If you want to increase your share capital, there's stamp duties for that. When you purchase some properties, and those transactions, the stamp duties, the amount may not be fixed. It may be based on whatever the transaction is. So there are also taxes you pay to the state, that's to the state internal revenue service. Those are the personal income tax. So if you are a sole proprietor, or you are in partnership, remember we said that both you and your business, you are the same person. Unlike company, where the companies are different from their shareholders, personal income tax is going to be taken out of the profit of the business as a sole proprietor. Then there's business premises levy. Those ones vary state to state. So you want to know what the amount that is payable for your state. Then there's the development levy. So they are just usually paid annually. It depends on the state. Then now there are some ones that you pay to local government. So that's like shop rates. There are some local governments that they go from street to street to see people who have, aside from the shops inside, they have extension in front of their shop. You see there are some levies that the local government gives on those for those extensions that are in front of their shop. There, if you sell in the markets, like there's a market that is for a town, there may be an amount that the local government expects you to pay. So all of these things are determined by the local factor, so the amount may not be static. So how do I get to the stage that I pay a tax as business? I pay taxes as business. What are the first things? The first things you get is your tax identification number. That's one thing we mentioned last week. You have your tax identification number. The tax identification number is just like your NIN for an individual, but and then your tax identification number for an individual for the purpose of paying tax. So that is the number. Once you give them that number, even without putting your name, they are able to trace it on their system and say, this number belongs to this business. Ordinarily, by giving them, excuse me, ordinarily by giving them the number, you're able to say that, oh, this number is related to this business. So that's it. You read, and what are the things you need for your tax identification number? You need your certificate of incorporation as a company. So I'm going to start with a company. Your certificate of incorporation. You need your status reports. You need your memorandum and article of association. Those are the things you need for a tax for a company. Then for a business name, you will also need your certificate of registration and your status report. Those are the things you need as a business name. So if you're a company, you want to register with the FIRS. If you're a business name, you may also want to register with both the FIRS and the State Internal Revenue Service. Then of course the FIRS still has to do with the VAT. Then you also remember to keep proper record, because it is when you know how much that came in, that is when you're able to decide, this is the amount that is this is the amount, or this is the category I fall within. So you are able to you are able to also know, this was the total profit I made at the end of the year. Then the fourth thing is, please file your returns. Even if you did not have any profit, that means you are not paying any amount as tax, but you have to still file your returns. So the federal government have put up a website, the Tax Promax website. That is where businesses file their returns, and it's periodic. So what are the common mistakes small businesses make? They do not register for they do not register for tax at all. You just feel, "Ugh, I don't have to pay tax," because in the long run, by the time you will need that tax, or perhaps you are applying to a certain grant or a certain fund, and the organizers are saying, "Oh, we want businesses that comply with the law. Give us your tax clearance certificate." Tax clearance certificates usually requires you to bring evidence of filing tax for 3 consecutive years, 3 prior years, right? And if you do not have evidence of filing, because you have not been filing, because you did not even register for tax, you may be losing that opportunity. Then the second thing of mistake you also make is mixing business and personal money. It says it makes it hard for you to calculate tax. You do not know how much is your personal income, especially if you are a person that probably you work and your business to you is, let me use in quotes, side hustle. Remember that your side hustle that you started small, you will also want it to grow. So you cannot start putting the income from your company as an employee with your income from a business. No, you have to separate it so that you'll be able to know that this month this is what I made in business. And sometimes, even when you separate it, it makes it easier for you to know which line of my business is earning me more money, which one is making me lose. So if you let's say, let me use tailoring because this is something that I'm very friends that do, and you do ready to wear clothes, and at the same time you tell people to bring clothes for you to sew for them. You want to know which one earns you money. Is it the ready to wear, the one that they just have to come and pick up the style they want and just pay you, or the one that will bring their fabrics, choose style for you, and you start spending hours? So you want to think. So it is when you are able to separate your personal money and track records from that of your business money, that is when you'll be able to decide which one is better. You'll also be able to know how your company is growing, how is it faring, which line of business is yielding more income than the other. Then the other thing is not issuing receipts and invoices. It is best for you to issue receipts and invoices. You remember when we're talking about the SCUML certificate, one thing we talked about is having KYC, having having a form, a database for your clients or your customers, having receipts and invoices. It goes a long way to also prove to them that whatever service I rendered to this person is a legitimate one. It is also sometimes when you are doing your recording, or probably you are in a rush hour during your business. You could not start recording in your bookkeeping journal or something, or in your accounting book. By the time you bring out the receipts and the invoices, you track them through the serial number. You're able to know that, oh, this is the amount that came in a particular day. This is the amount that came in within a particular month. Then the fourth mistake you people make is they ignore tax letter until it becomes big penalty. So I'm going to tell you, the revenue services, that's the service that is charged with tax and issuing tax. When they realize that this person has income and this person is not paying tax, they are allowed to um make approximate assumptions of how much this person is making. And based on their assumptions, a minute a minute. So based on their assumptions, they are able to say, oh, this person should be able to pay this amount in tax. Now, the first step they are going to do now is to give you a letter. Let's just assume that that is a warning. And usually, within 30 days, you must respond to that letter. You must let them know that, oh, this so and so amount that you people put as the tax I'm paying, no, I sat down and I calculated it. I don't think I am owing up to that amount. So by the time you reach out to them, you'll probably visit their office or reach out to a tax consultant who helps you to check, okay, to analyze how much you need to pay. It is going to be easier than when the penalty or the tax has become final. Once it has become final, you cannot appeal it on the administrative level. You probably will have to then start going to court, and of course the court will also go back to the law to tell you that you were supposed to respond within 30 days. So if your state internal revenue service or the FIRS has sent you a letter at any point in time and said this and this is the amount we estimated to be your tax, please respond. Because when you don't respond, it then becomes a permanent liability that you have to pay or you have to battle in court. And at the long run, even if you even it does not guarantee that you are going to win that case. So the best thing you can do as a business owner is to be tax compliant. In business, it is easier to be safe than to be sorry. It is easier to be proactive than for you to be reactive. It is easier for you to take the first step. Like it's easier for you to attack than to be the one to start defending yourself. And but I did not do this, I did not do that. If at all you have to start defending yourself, you are defending yourself because it has become absolutely necessary, not because you were negligence on your duties. So what are the benefits of paying your taxes? We have, you avoid fines, interest, and sealing of your shop. Yes, I've witnessed it where at the local government level, the particular shop owner failed to pay the local levy. What did they do? They sealed up the place, and the person was not allowed to open that shop in the market until he paid the money. Then, for you to qualify for government contracts and loans, they want to be sure that this person we are giving is someone that is reliable, that would always go by the law. You also build a good business reputation. And the other thing is, remember at the beginning we told you that your taxes are what that we are used, or the government use to run. Yes, we used to run the business. Aside from some other resources, from natural resources and the other things the country has, the major thing that the country is using to run, that government is using to run the country, is our taxes. So you want good schools, you want motorable roads, please pay your tax. It is your duty. And uh, as a patriotic Nigeria, um, so what are the simple tips to stay compliant? Keep receipts and invoices and payment records. Remember that when somebody buys things from you, remember to include the person's name, the date, what the person got for, if the person paid in full or is paying instrumental. Please keep those records. And it's not enough for you to have those records, please keep them for as long as 5 years. I know a lot of people will say, it's too long. See, gratefully we are in an era that we can store all of these things electronically. You can just, just snap it with your phone, convert to PDF at the end of the month or so, and save it to your Google Drive, or whatever online drive you use. Maybe it's Outlook, whichever one you use, just save it there. Number two is, remember to separate your business bank accounts from your personal account. Is going to make it easier for you to know how much you are going to be paying in taxes. It's easier for you to show the growth of your business. Then the third one is, you hire an accountant or a tax consultant if you are not sure. If you are not sure of how to go about it, reach out. I'm sure that Thrift Africa will be very much happy to help you with that. Then remember to file your returns on time, your VAT, by 21st of the next month. So if for the VAT deducted this month, the 7.5% you deduct on businesses, on goods and services that you deduct, the 7.5 that you deducted on goods and services, by 21st of next month latest, you should pay it. Then your company income tax or personal income tax, those are usually yearly. So in summary, paying tax is not a punishment. It's part of doing legal and respectable business. Remember, you want your business to be compliant, to be legal and fundable. And tax is a big deal when it comes to that. You will need your tax clearance certificate. Then when you comply with tax laws, you protect your business and open doors to more opportunities. Thank you very much. I'm just going to look at the questions here. So people, I can see here that a lot of things is asking about costs for or for trademark. If I were requesting for cost of trademark, so I have to put it there that trademark are in different categories. So the cost for trademark is after you've sat down with the consultants, you've told them, oh, this is the business that I have, this is the logo, and you've shown them everything, and then they are going to explain it to you, break it down to you, what cost it entails, the amount that is going to be paid to the registry, as much and as what is our professional fee is going to be. So that cost may not be something I could say. Then how do I
Yeah,
check?
we can help. We can talk about that later if they want to do their SCUML. So
Yes,
that's
yes.
fine. And they
So
want to
it
get in
says,
touch with Mark, so that's fine. Send a message to me on WhatsApp. Yes. Thank you
so
very much.
so it says, the next one says, how do I check if a word, mark, or logo is available? Okay, so that's also one of the first step. unlike CAC that you can check it online, the trademark registry, you have to go in-house to the registry to conduct the search through their you reach out to the officials in in the registry, so they are going to show you how to go about it. That's why I also say it is best for you to go through a consultant or someone that is that does that. Oh, those are basically the question. Please, did I miss any other question? I can't see much from this.
I'll check the charts now.
Okay.
So someone asked that is Kumul mandatory for all supermarkets, regardless of the size?
Yes. There's the fact is it uses supermarket. It does not use mini mart or some, so it is required.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you can start orders. That how much does it cost for trademark? So you can send a message to me, Golden Premier Enterprises. And okay, yes. So yeah, I think that's all. That's all the questions that we have. Thank you
Okay.
very much, Ruth. Thank you so much. And I hope we all had a great time, learning today. So yeah, that's it. Our webinar for this month has ended. Our next program obviously starts, and we are so excited. So if you register for start, this is the kind of value that we provide at Choose Africa, and the start program is going to be, on another entire level. You're going to get loads and loads of value. So thank you so much, everyone, for attending tonight. Thank you so much, Ruth, for your time, and everybody too. Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you. Goodbye, everyone.